I am particularly glad to be here because this topic is a topic that resonates with everyone, regardless of whether we are taking the ICAN exam or not. And I'm sure that we are all glad to be here too. So I am excited about the topic, and I am particularly excited about the quality of people that will be talking about this topic today. So for today's session, we have instructions that would like all our participants to abide by. We have firstly, we will expect that everyone mutes their microphones so that we don't disrupt the meeting. We will also expect that if you have any questions, you should use the chat box, and you can also wait for the question and answer session, as there will be a question and answer session. We also know that you might want to have additions during the course of the sessions. You have concerns, you can just drop it in the chat box, because as we are sharing our own stories, as our speakers are sharing their own stories, we would also like if you can share your own story or share your own contribution to what the speaker has said to make the session interactive. Also, the final one is to please let's try to avoid all distractions so that we can fully concentrate in today's session. Thank you. So the order of programs, I'm going to be giving an introductory speech. I'm going to be welcoming our speaker. Our first speaker is Mr. Richard Okunola, and is already in the meeting. Our second speaker is also already in the meeting. I can see in the meeting Mrs. Motorayo Ajisafe, and also Mr. Ahmed Suluka, who is the founder. So we'll also be introducing you to some of our tutors who could make it to the program today. We'll be having a question and answer session, then a closing speech. Thank you. I want to start by welcoming everyone to the webinar today. Excel Academy is a tuition center that offers quality online lectures for ICAN and ACCA programs. So when you think of ICAN or you think of ACCA, we want you to think Excel Academy, because we'll give you a pathway which you can use in achieving success in your ICAN exams. So today we'll be discussing about strategies that you need to, things that you can do to avoid fear of ICAN exams. So our first speaker for today is already in the meeting. His name is Richard Okunola. I personally know Mr. Richard on LinkedIn. I follow his articles on LinkedIn, and there is one I actually like where he talked about managing your salary. He talked about how people risk appetite grow when they have like a little increase in their salary. So you might want to check that out on LinkedIn. You might want to connect with him on LinkedIn, especially if you are interested in taxation. So Richard is a seasoned accountant and tax practitioner with over 5 years of proven knowledge in process accounting and taxation of multinational firms. Richard is a multiple prize winner, and he has constantly demonstrated leadership and proficiency skills in various capacities. He currently works in EY as an assistant manager, and he has won award as the Tax Rookie of the Year. So I am highly honored to be reading Mr. Richard's profile, and I am sure you can't wait to meet him and hear what he has to say. So Mr. Richard, if you are in the meeting, please, we would like you to turn on your camera so that our participants can see you. We would like you to share your story. We would like you to share how your ICAN journey was with us. Were you at any time scared of the ICAN exams? Did you at any time fail the ICAN exams? How long did it take you to complete the ICAN exams? And also, what do you think we can do? How can we avoid the fear of ICAN exams? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Oluwafunmilayo, and thank you everyone for having me here. So I don't need to introduce myself again. I'm sure most of you already know my name by now, Richard Okunola. So I'll just give a background of my ICAN journey, which I believe should be a motivation to some of us here. And afterwards, I'll also discuss how we can also leverage this experience to, easily pass through and become successful in our ICAN exams. So first of all, I started my ICAN in 2017. I started with 8 years level of ICAN. Intentionally, I went through the 8 years level. So, and based on my academic background, I was able to get exemptions from ATS 1 and ATS 2. So I wrote ATS 3. Now, the interesting thing about the exam is that because I had a very good academic standing during my undergraduate, so I just, I didn't really read for the ATS. And when it was like a week to the exam, so I was now doing cost accounting, and then I said that this thing is becoming wider than I thought. So I did it. I did a lot of workings and everything, but when the results came out, the cost accounting that I thought I knew the most, that was when I failed. And they wrote marginal failure. Marginal failure means that when you were very close to the pass mark, I think they should use this in ATS. When they wrote marginal failure, that means maybe you got 49 or 48, very close to the pass mark. So very painful. Like, why will I fail this paper? So I did a lot of permutation and combination to know why I failed. So later I got to know that it was because I did not prepare very well for it. So I was focusing on the fact that ICAN does not set some questions, so I did not focus on those part I did not set. At that particular diet, they brought most of the questions I did not be setting. The topics I did not set the question on, that was what they brought. So subsequent diets, I wrote it, and this time I don't even bother to check. But I don't think they post scores for ATS3. I'm not sure, but I didn't bother to check the score because I knew that I already passed. So right from the exam, I knew that I already passed this. While I was preparing, I was like, why will I fail this paper? As simple as it is, when I've done it, this time I've read and I've prepared. So I was like, why will I fail this last diet? This thing is very simple. So I took that energy to my skills level. And interestingly, during my skills, so let me not make it look like everything is very simple or very straightforward like that. So during my skills level, I was already KPMG then, I was working, and then I was running my ICAN program and the likes. So one thing that I think really helped me was because I was in the midst of people that are writing ICAN, and the encouragement, the challenging. In fact, let me tell you one thing, that I'm surrounded by people that are prize winners. To my right hand side is one of the prize winners for financial reporting. To my left, prize winners for tax. My back, I have case study prize winner. Like, I have prize winners that are surrounding me. So I was like, this guy, even if I thought he cannot win any prize, at least pass. So I did all my energy, put in efforts, mingle with friends that are also having a positive mindset, and I wrote the diet and cleared all the papers in the skills level. So just because I passed everything in the skills level, I proceeded to the final level, and with the same energy that I have now, I would definitely get this thing done. But to my surprise, I failed 3 papers in the final level, and it was a very big shock to me. So, and when I did my internal check, I discovered that probably for my own end, there were some things. In fact, let me not say probably, because it's only some people decide not to accept that they fail. And they say, how's the ICAN result? They say, they gave me. So let's just be sincere that I failed. So what's now the way forward? Then I went back to my drawing board, designed a strategy, come up with a timetable and written plan that was able to accommodate my study and then work together. So what I now did was to reach out to friends who have passed that level. Then they advised me that for final levels, it's not like the way I did skills. Skills, I prepared more with textbooks and BSCCA packs, ICAN packs, and then some additional textbooks. But for final, it was more videos I used. So that's basically everything about my ICAN journey. Nothing so much about it. And let me tell you one thing, when you get to become chartered, you don't really feel there's nothing that is about it again. It's just the process of getting chartered that is the stressful part. But once you get chartered, you'll be surprised that there's nothing there. So now I will just go straight to our discussion for today. So I don't know if I've answered your question at Formula.
Yes, you have. You can go on. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. I've identified 6 steps here, what I felt helped me, and then I've used that same strategy to advise others, and they've leveraged it to also pass the examinations. I believe by applying these steps, hard work, and of course, trusting God too, you definitely pass your exams. So first of all, start preparation early. So like I said initially, my ATS3, when I was writing that cost accounting, I underrated the course based on the fact that when I did cost accounting while I was in school, I had about 97, and I was like, I've covered everything, there's nothing there, I don't want to write again. But when it was like a week to the exam, I just said, let me just check this past question again. And when I checked it, I was like, what? So many things that we did not do in school were there, and it was too late for me to prepare. So it's good for you to start preparing early. One thing I also note here is that you also need to get yourself registered early. So things that would cause distraction for you, you need to avoid them on time. So get yourself registered, make inquiries about the course. So let's say you are going to be writing 2 papers, or you are already writing 5 papers. You need to know what you want to write so that you can, align your plans towards it and then be able to get set for it. So the second point is design a study timetable and stick to it. So yes, this is the part I did not mention while I was giving you the brief. So in 2018, while I was preparing for the skills examination, one thing I did that I felt really helped me was that I had a timetable. So many of us, we underrate ICAN timetable, thinking that, well, it's just 4 courses I'm doing. I'll cover it, I'll cover a weekend, I'll cover it. But let me tell you, there is very little time, a lot of topics to be covered. So it's important that you ensure that you prepare on time, that you get set on time. Now, what I mean by getting a study timetable, it's not just about the regular timetable that we do. So what I did was that I have Monday to Friday. I have, let's say, financial reporting on Monday, MG, that is CSMA now, on Tuesday. Wednesday, I have taxation. Thursday, I have performance management. Now, I did not just do those topics like that. I did not do the courses like that. I insert a topic per day that I'm having those materials. So what you should do is that on Monday, if you're having financial reporting, let your financial reporting be, okay, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I want to read financial reporting. Then from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. I want to read taxation. Now, when you do 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. for financial reporting, put the particular topic you want to cover. So what I've done is that I spread out all my topics. For example, if you ask me how many topics are in ICAN case study, maybe not now, so then I can tell you that there are 14 topics in ICAN case study. Out of those 14, how many have you covered? So it is not, like they used to say, it's not just about setting goals. Your goals have to be smart, at least specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So set timetable for the topics inside the course. So financial reporting on Monday, and under financial reporting on Monday. Today is so Monday will be 4th of July. So on 4th of July, I'm going to be reading IFRS 15. And by the end of that 4th of July, I must know IFRS 15 and all the workings that are under IFRS 15. By 5th of July, I'm going to be reading IAS 12. So like that, it makes you accountable. You can say that I've covered all these standards. I finished all the ICAN packs for skills level. I finished them back to back, and I'm not using it to brag. That might not be the reason why I passed, but I can tell you confidently that I finished them back to back twice, not just once. And how did I do it? I did a timetable that can cover it. It might be a skimming reading, just read through it. Then you can now come back to and start doing the thorough reading for the aspects that are common and frequent in the past questions. So that one is about the getting study plan. So number 3 is get relevant materials. Now this one is also underrated, and the reason is because many people think that ICAN pack is enough. Of course, for some courses. So for other ones that I think ICAN pack is not enough is one, corporate reporting. So some of you have seen some emojis. I give you some example in class, 1 plus 1. When you get to exam, they'll put 1 plus 1 minus 1 divided by 100 times. Then the entire thing just scattered for you. So it's important that aside from the ICAN pack, for these following courses, you need to get additional materials. Don't worry, Excel Academy covers your tutorials. I'm only saying for extra studies in case you need to just get extra material to read. That's all about the chapter 3. Get relevant materials, videos to make study fun. Point number 4, you need to leverage experience and motivation from predecessors. Yeah, this is very good. Before I started my ICAN, let me tell you one thing about my ICAN is that I started my ICAN with, let me say, anger, because let me say I was underestimated. So someone spoke to me, and then the person said, these people, they are running away from ICAN because they cannot pass it. The thing was very frustrating. How will you say I don't want to do ICAN because I cannot pass it? So many people have the mindset that ICAN is difficult, and if you have that mindset, then it remains difficult. No matter how you try and put your energy towards it, it will just be difficult. So it's important that you have and leverage the experience of others. Don't stay with people that tell you that I wrote ICAN for 200 years. Those kind of people will just discourage you. So get people that have passed ICAN once, people that cleared it once, people that got prize. Don't be ashamed. Don't form that you are bigger or you are more senior than them. Get people that are passed or have gone ahead of you. Okay, number 5, practice with past questions. So yes, that's very important. Many times, many people just read for ICAN pack. They finish the ICAN pack, they never review any past question. And then when they go for the examination, they fail. So one of the way I think helped me to build my confidence for ICAN examination and subsequent examinations is by preparing with past question. So past question gives you an example or an insight into what might likely come out. So for example, one thing I did for financial reporting and PM. So for financial reporting, I examined all the last 10 diets. So I did question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The topic for each of them. So let's say 2020, the first question was under the financial reporting was group account, and they tested sub or foreign subsidiary. Then question number 2, they tested inventory. Question number 3, they tested IAS 40. Question number 4, like that, I analyzed it. and then I did it for 10 years. Now I now discover that every two diet they bring some particular question. So if they bring inventory this diet and they bring it in May diet and November diet, by next May diet they will not bring inventory, they bring another topic. Then in another 2 diet they will bring another. You can do it by yourself too. It's like doing a trend analysis of the question that they've set. So that way you can know the topics that they've set previously, and then you know how to prepare with those topics too. So it gives you an hint that, okay, this diet, they've not set IFRS 15 in the last 3 diets. It's most likely they will bring this diet. I'm not saying you should be doing gambling, no, but it's a way for you to also know that this thing is not set for some diets. It's likely they bring it, and it worked for me when I did my own. I was able to use it to predict mine, and I gave some people the templates after the diet. They're like, this guy, you passed everything. How did you do it? So I give them the template. For PM2, you can do that too. To predict the topics, limiting factor, bottleneck, and the likes, you're able to determine the particular question they will set next. Finally, number 6, relax well and build confidence. I think I missed one part that I did not tell you guys. So under the studying aspect for timetable, one thing I also did was that while I'm coming home, that time I was not driving, while I'm always on my way back from the office, there's traffic on Thornmelon Bridge, traffic like, let me say, 1 to 2 hours most of the time. So what I did is that I had a soft copy of my packs on my phone, CSME, audit, all those courses that are theoretical. You can maximize your time in traffic reading them. I did it personally. In fact, I finished most of the topics in traffic, and it's not easy to sit down and be reading one big pack for 2 hours. Not easy to sit down. When you get home, you're tired. You're not saying you want to go and read theoretical part of PSAF. You just be sleeping because the thing is too much and it's boring, and it's not even things that we're doing real time again. It's most likely archaic stuff. So you can leverage time in traffic, memorize as much as you can, read, and then before you get home, you have finished 2 chapters. You're like, wow. And let me tell you, all those chapters in textbook, they are not that much. That is one thing many people don't also know. They are not much. Let me tell you, PSAF had like 30 something chapters. The first 2-3 chapters are like 7 pages. So if I tell you I finished 3 chapters in the PSAF, this guy, how did he do it? My brother, it's just 7 pages. It's just like the Bible that we are holding to. Something. The Bible has a number of chapters. I can finish like 10 chapters in a day because there are some chapters that are just 1 page. So now let's go back to the final class. Relax well and build confidence. So that aspect is where I want us to also focus on. Many times, many people are under pressure to pass, and at the end of the day, you miss out on the pleasure you should have had. I know say you should be going for party. I don't go for party actually, but you miss out on so many things, and then you still failed. It's very frustrating. So what I would advise is that while you are preparing for the exam, if you have structured the timetable very well, you should also have time to relax. Just say today, I'm not reading jack today. I want to be relaxed. Now, that does not mean you should not read too, because while you're saying you're not reading anything, some things are going on in your head that, this guy, you're wasting time. So, be using those time to memorize the things you have read. Master them. Sometimes there's things you have to put on your head. I like IFRS 15 because I work with it almost every day. To tell you, what are the 5 steps to recognition according to IFRS 15? I have mentioned this thing like 100 times in this week alone. I don't know. I've mentioned it regularly. And it is exactly the same way it is inside the IFRS pack. Exactly the same way it is, word for word. That's how I mentioned it. And how do I get to that level? It's just because I have mastered some things on my head. So you don't get to make mistakes anytime you need them. So you can do that for that, and then you can also use acronyms too. So relax well, build confidence. So building confidence, the final part is that you need to practice what you know. So don't just sit and say, I finished the pack, I'm good to go. No, practice what you know. It is easy for you to do past questions because you're not under pressure. When you're in the exam and you see the same question that you have solved before, you will even be extra more careful because you'll be looking at the dynamics through which they might have said the question. So building confidence means that also take time to review past questions without seeing the answer. So I believe that these few points will help every one of us to progress in our various professional career, and I'm trusting that it will be very fruitful for every one of us on this session. Yeah, so thank you very much. That's all from my end.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richard. So everyone is going to keep their question to the question and answer session, but as the host, I want to abuse my power. I want to abuse the power I have as the host to ask you a quick question. You mentioned failing cost accounting in ATS3. And so how did that failure affect your preparation for subsequent exams that you had? Did that failure cause you to have fear that ICAN exams are hard? Did you kind of not believe in yourself that you can pass other ICAN exams at once? How did that failure affect you adversely?
Okay, yes, thank you very much for that. Well, let me not say it did not affect me. Yes, I was down, like I failed, but the failure was a motivation also. You don't appreciate success. If you are just passing, you don't appreciate it very well. But when you failed once and you see the impact of that failure, for example, I had a group of 7 of us then. We were friends. We all wrote the diary together. I was the only one that failed. And all of them know that this guy is very good. I was doing that. It was very painful. But it was that anger that I failed, that I took to skills, that these skills, I will pass everything. And coincidentally, I was on one engagement then. I was lodged in the hotel, I could not even eat. I was like, how will I fail this examination? This small thing. But to others, it might be a demoralization stuff. It might just make them feel very bad. But to me, I said I will never fail this next diet again. And I wrote the next diet. In fact, I over prepared for it, because when I was marking it in the exam, I was like 90 something. When you are already marking yourself that this thing, you don't even know. I had 6 questions, pick 4. I can answer all the 6. How prepared I was, I can answer all the 6. So I was like, which best 4 can I do to get like 90 something? Well, if you get 90 something again, after you have failed, nothing can happen again. No more prize. So you have failed. Maybe for others might be different, but personally for me, the failure made me realize that there is area for improvement, and then it also propelled me to prepare more for the next level that I was going for. So that's just my own perspective of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Richard. Thank you very much for that. So guys, failure is supposed to be a motivation. Failure is supposed to motivate you to read aggressively, to prepare aggressively for the exam. So the first point he mentioned that we all fail to do is to start preparation early. I can remember when I was also writing my ICAN exams. I don't intensify my reading until it is close to maybe 2 months to the exam. That's when I start reading aggressively, and I want to read 5 chapters in a day, which is almost not achievable. So I said in starting preparation early, we should try to start from known to unknown. One of the things that helped me during the course of my ICAN journey and helps me with other exams is starting from known to unknown. So I start from courses that I know that they don't get me bored. I don't get sleepy when I'm reading them. I can remember when I was writing skills exam, I started with CSME and I almost completed CSME 3 weeks into reading CSME. So that way you know that, okay, ICAN exam is in 1 month. I have completed these 2 papers, even though I am still trying to understand these 2 papers. So when you start from known to unknown, at least when you feel like exam is close, you already know that you're well grounded in 2 papers and it's just these 2, instead of starting from unknown and then you're leaving the known. So I think that is another strategy that can help us during the course of our ICAN journey and even in other exams. So I'm going to be introducing our second speaker. The second speaker is Ms. Motsunrayo Ajishafe. So Ms. Motsunrayo is also a qualified chartered accountant. She's a strategic professional student of ACCA and a first-class graduate of accounting with a career in finance and professional services. So Mrs. Motsunrayo, if you are on the call, please turn on your camera and let's hear what you have for us today.
Hi everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm trying to unmute.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for me. It's my pleasure, and I see this as a very good privilege. Thank you so much. Okay, yes, as I had earlier introduced, my name is Motsunrayo. Okay, first of all, I would say success is not by accident. I mean, we all know that it's not, I woke up and I passed. No, success is intentional. You're intentional about it, and then you are consistent. So it's not just the volume, it's the consistency, and that consistency is not easy. I think that's what we should also leverage on in this coming diet: consistency. Consistency in what? Applying fundamental principles that are effective. So not just people telling you this, something that is proved and effective. So it's fundamental. Of course, you can do more than that, but at least the fundamental things we'll be sharing in this webinar. So basically, I think first of all, I would say one of the causes of anxiety is fear, like as per fear from past failures. Basically, you failed an exam before, maybe from school, maybe from other professional exams, and knowledge of past stories that are not encouraging. So that's one of the major causes of anxiety. You are scared because you're the smartest person in your group, or the smartest person in your previous schooling was very, very good, and at the end of the day for ICAN, person did not pass and all. So all of those things can impute fear and anxiety. And also One of the other factors is excessive pressure. You're putting so much pressure on yourself, and I must pass this exam. And even when some circumstances are not comfortable, you are just putting yourself out and putting so much pressure on yourself. So you don't get to see some certain things. You don't get to apply some certain principles. You don't get to apply some certain things that can work for you, basically. So, and that's why it's better to understand where this and know how to curtail it. Okay, so basically, dealing with fear now and anxiety, I think I'll just list out. I can't say they are really fundamental, but I think they are very, very key. They're very, very key in helping curtailing fear, basically. So one of these is one, the positive mindset. I will just put it in my story in a brief. I don't want to take too much time. Positive mindset. Now, this positive mindset is not natural. You have to build it. You have to build, because over time, when you're reading, when you're preparing, you'll be hearing different scary stories. How some people this, as the earlier speaker said about having to roll with people that are always discouraging, or not like even discouraging. They're always talking about their past failures. Oh, I wrote it 10 times. All of those things, try as much as possible to avoid them. While it may not be so feasible, you can try as much as possible to develop that mindset. No, they've done this, but my own will be different. You have to have that positive mindset. I would advise that you carry a clean slate in your heart, in your mind about ICAN. Don't have any bias or any past. Yes, carry it to the clean slate. Carry it as if you are just starting and you want to go, and you are prepared and you are consistent. You are ready to give it your all. So positive mindset is built, and one thing that can help you is avoiding negative thoughts as much as possible. It's not easy, but try as much as possible to keep building it. Read more success stories than discouraging stories, as I'd say, basically. So let me quickly move to the next. Know your areas of strength and weakness. Yeah, so this is important. Why? Because you need to understand yourself more. When you have people having past success stories, they have their system, they have their way of doing things. You may not be able to compare yourself, because some people may have some certain things that you don't have. But as much as possible, understand the circumstances of your study, your studying and preparation. Understand yourself, know your strengths, know what drives you, know what moves you, know the things that drives you. Some people now, it may just be early morning prayers, it may just be listening to music or listening to inspiration, reading a book, a short book on success, whatever it is. Know what drives you, know your weakness. Some people are not good with reading in the night, some people is early in the morning. Know yourself, know the things that absorb energy from you. Yes, they call them energy thieves. Yes, you just hear a certain news and it will just weigh you down. Yeah, so during the preparation, what will help you is try as much as possible to clear your mind, to should I say curtail your mind from jargons, distractions. Yes, so some things may come up in the office, and at the end of the day, maybe in the office you had an issue, and when you already prepared your mind to read, you will not now read because of that issue. You will be carrying it on your heart. During the preparation of ICAN and the journey to be a chartered accountant, all of this, you need to quickly throw them away as fast. In many they happen like this, throw them out. They are garbage. They are out there to distract you, and that's one thing. The weaknesses, as you should know those things by now. You should know those things that zop your energy, that those things that discourage you, those things that make you more or make you less productive or make you less effective in studying, basically. Okay, so one tip is, as I said, for even positive mindset, is surrounding yourself with positive minded people. Okay, so let's me joining a study group. Yes, there's no other, or let's say it's one of the most motivating factors, joining a study group. When you are down and you need someone to really hold you, study group really comes through for you. So you have people, I've done this, have you done yours? They can even check upon you. Even if you are sleeping, they can check upon you. So during my ICAN journey, I think that was basically around 2018 thereabout. I think, okay, yeah, 2018 thereabout. I was studying, and then I was studying a lecture center, but because of distance, I was leaving earlier than I should. At the point, I was legit sleeping in this lecture center, like back to back. I'll carry my things, toothpaste, and all of my belongings, and go there, because I literally saw people sleeping there, like sleeping on, and I'm not used to that kind of life of sleeping on bench and all. But because I want to pass this exam, I had to like literally sleep on the ground, sleep on tables, back to back. So this takes pardon me, this takes a lot. You need to put what you need, and I believe that then when I was studying, having them, all of us in the middle of the night, you see the whole class, the whole tuition center filled up by 2 a.m. Come on, you are sleeping. Like seriously, you wake up and you see your mates reading to you would jack up. Nobody will tell you that. So I think that was one of the things that really helped me, because I had a lot of people. I couldn't say I had so much prize winners or really smart people, but I was with people that were consistent every time. So I think that's really it's very, very instrumental. So you have for start preparation early. This cannot be overemphasized. Like, you want to write exam, you should know in the year before that you want to write ICAN exam. So not like, oh, I think I should write ICAN exam this that, and it's 3 months. No, they don't do that. You make your decisions on time and start preparing on time. That's very, very key. Preparation is very, very important. It may not be fast, but at least you are consistent. You are given 2 hours daily, 1 hour daily, 3 hours daily, 1 hour daily, 30 minutes, as long as you are consistent. So preparation is very important. Getting study materials on time, start lectures on time for some people. Start lectures on time. It's really go a long way. When things are now tight and here, you can now probably withdraw when you see your schedule is tight, but the earlier the better. So let's quickly move preparation tips. Yes, preparation tips such as jotting, how to jot, or what are the things you should look out for when you are reading. When you read, most times when you start early, it gives you time for you to understand concepts well. Because sometimes when you delay it to the earlier date, you will not be forcing foam inside bottle. You will be trying it will not become like jargons, because you will think I've been reading, but now I'm finding it difficult. That's why it's important to take your time when you start, and you can only do that when you start on time. So most times for people that are jotting, which I already advise, like I always advise, please take notes. You can highlight areas you feel that you need more clarification, and you need to pinpoint them, because they can test it. You can even look at some things in your pack and say, this is a testable area. You outline it, you highlight it, maybe with an highlighter or a pen. Okay, that's one thing too. Okay, and also, like, another preparatory tips is, for me now, okay, let me even give a short story of mine, just a very brief short story. As he said, I think it's a little bit aligned to the previous speaker. I cleared my skill at once. So when I was doing the final course, because I already thought I was so good at FR, because FR was like my highest score, I think. Yeah, FR was my, so I was not bothered. I was like, SFM. Now let me explain something. You need to give them all the attention. Don't say, oh, some people say, oh, I like sense. Don't look at what they are saying. Look at what you know. Look at your, like, literally focus on yourself. Focus on what you know and how to work well. Basically, people are carrying this SFM like as if it was so hard, and to me it was like the simplest. It was even in fact, it was like, how do I even put it? It was like the highest score. And now when I started studying, and I realized that it's not as bad as it is. So that's why, don't carry too much sentiments and stories of people, especially the failure ones. Oh, I did this for focus on your own issue. At the end of the day now, because of that overconfidence, I now failed CR. You can imagine, I failed CR because, in fact, I didn't even read CR. I said, FR is advanced CR. I didn't read CR. I was just about putting effort on SFM, case study. At the end of the day, I was like boasting to my people now, stainless. But now I failed. I failed CR. So it really hits me like, CR. First of all, I didn't even finish because I didn't read some certain standard, because I'm like, oh, they testing this kind of standard. Why are they doing like this? Like, so it was so hard. It was in fact, I didn't knew I'll fail that year. Like, and it was painful because it's something I could have avoided. Now that's part of overconfidence. So people may scale through skill stage and not do some certain fundamental things, but trust me, it will catch up with you. I'm not sure. I'm just saying sometimes it may actually catch up with you. I'll give a short story of somebody that passed it all and he prepared in 2 months or so. So he thought that magic would work in finals, and at the end he didn't pass one. Like one, he didn't pass. Because he felt like, oh, so even if you clear some things, you do mago, is the result. If you don't do some certain things, preparation early, do some fundamental principles, like you'll be shocked that at the end of the day, it will not work in the next diet or in the next stage. So that's what it is. Please, for people that are probably at past one level, please don't carry it as overconfidence. Don't try it. Don't say, oh, when you're going to another level, please carry yourself in a clean slate. open your mind to learn. Don't say, oh, I've done this, is an advanced. Open it again, open the brain to receive more again, like as if you are starting from afresh. That really helps. And give all of them the same. I cannot, well, I can't say people should give the same attention and do it, but as much as possible, don't prepare for one to the detriment of the other. You'll be shocked. That's one thing I know. Okay, and as regards what's the last thing here? Yes, get adequate rest. And the adequate rest comes from when you prepare on time. Most time, people that don't get adequate rest, they are doing rush hour, like rush hour. That's why. And then they burn out on. You see, some people said they even faint. Yes, it's funny. Let me think. It's not joke, because I know when I was doing my exam, a lady vomited. Like, we're on Okada to go to this center, I think last or so. Almost she fainted. So this thing is real. Get adequate rest. And the thing is about it is planning, preparation, adequate preparation, avoid burnout, and also memory loss. I won't say that, I won't expand on that, but that is very key. Like, all the things you read because you are not sleeping well. Of course, I know there's some certain sacrifices you will make, right? But but there's a part you still need to give yourself the minimum attention. That means your body. You still need to give your body minimum attention, basically. So some people, at the end of the day, all the things they read, just it's not a jargon. It's not magic. It's because your brain has suffered, because you want to kill the body. ICAN is May diet to November diet. You have literally how many months? 5 good months. November 2, more than 5 months. So why are you killing yourself? Chairman, take your time, sleep well. So this is very, very important. Avoid this burnout, because it may not show in your body, but when you get to the exam hall, you realize that what you read, can't remember. So I think that's all on my end. Okay, I think the mentorship part is also very important. When you are also having the study group, please open up. Don't say, if I ask this question, hey, they'll see me as I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know much, or I'm not smart. Please open up. When you have an issue, quickly escalate. There's some people that have gone through what you've gone through and they've passed it, and you don't need to go through that same route. You can just go the easy way by asking them how they understood it, their way of understanding, then see to your end. So I think that's like the major thing. I think I'll also end with the same quote I did. Consistency is very important. And then success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. I think the first speaker done justice to that. Yes, in alignment with what Fumi had said, there's no how. In adequate preparation and early preparation, you cannot remove it. It's very, very important, because it saves you a lot of stress. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Motorayo. That was very, very powerful. You should have spoken to me directly when you were talking about memory loss. So I think our first point is actually very, very powerful, having a positive mindset. For me, I am someone that I never consider anything failing. I never consider the possibility of anything failing, and it has been helping me. You can call it overconfidence, but it helps. It helps you to like be settled when you're trying to write your exam. It helps you to be settled when you're trying to do anything at all, just not considering the possibility of anything failing. So on the parts where she said you should try to get enough rest, especially a day before your exam, try to get enough rest. I can remember when I was writing my PMX, so I can remember reading through the night, and my friend slept all night. Okay, she actually read to like 11 and then she slept, and I read till 4, only for me to get to the exam hall and I had a memory loss. After the exam, everything that was there were things that I could have actually attempted very, very well. There was even a particular question that I was the one that was telling her, do this, we have to do this before going for the exam tomorrow, and it came out. But when my results came out, because I did woefully, of course, when my results came out, it was really, really bad. So please, let's also try, as much as we're trying to read as much as we can, let's also try to get enough rest. So I am going to be introducing the next speaker, Mr. Ahmed Suluka, my boss, the founder of Excel Academy. So Mr. Ahmed Suluka is He's a case study guru. He personally helped me pass case study. The first case study I wrote, I had 18. I wrote 18 pages of nonsense. So I can give me 1 mark per page. So I had 18. So but Mr. Ames Luka is the case study guru that helped me out. He's a qualified chartered accountant and he holds a diploma in international financial reporting from ACCA. He's also currently in the strategic professional level of ACCA. So Mr. Suluk Ahmed, if you are in the meeting, please turn on your camera. Would like to hear from you.
Thank you very much for me. I mean, I'm so glad to be here. I really appreciate the introduction. So, quickly, I can see the time is not by our side, so I just have to make it brief. So, in addition to what the first two speakers have said, right? Early preparation is key, and need to get necessary and right study materials. Emphasis on right study materials. And guess what? The study materials are what we have in stock for you at Excel Academy, anyways. But let's quickly just scan through the point. So first of all, I do personally advise that if you actually want to prepare for an ICAN exam, right, you need to study every day. I know, you might be like, how is that possible? Okay, I might have other things I'm doing. Okay, at least it's not only I can have focusing, I have other areas of life I need to give my attention to. So of course that is right. But then what also helped me, like, I do create study time every day, which would also help you too. So like I do advise at least 2 hours, 2 hours of study, and success, it's the accumulation of all effort. You get it. Success don't just happen overnight. Do you get? So also, secondly, is you should create a study plan and follow it. And this is what I mean by that. Like Richard mentioned, you need to create more or less like a timetable, that would help you. Yeah. So this timetable, well, the way we do it, of course, our lectures at Excel Academy we have a timetable. So you can use that as a guide. You get now while creating your timetable, which would but emphasis on you need to create a study plan. You get it now. So, and number 3 is that don't wait till 2 weeks to exam. Start now. So yeah, this is key and this is related, or let me link it with the early preparation. And that is, don't wait till 2 weeks to exam before you start rushing. I mean, this actually affected me recently, but I was able to scale through. You get, but it was as a result of the busy schedule, anyways. You get, but don't just let that affect you. You get, because at the end of the day, you might feel like, is this thing I need to read? But time is not there. Do you get it now? And the pain of seeing what you actually thought of reading, what you actually had in plan of reading in the exam, looking at you like this, you get it now. That will be very painful. So that is why you need to start preparing early. Then also, there's this advice I do give, right? That the type that, okay, you have this phobia for exam and maybe you want to get serious, right? So I would just advise you, why don't you like pay for the exam in advance? Yeah, by the time you take maybe 70 or 80K to pay for the exam, you of course you don't want the money to to waste. Do you get? So that that can serve as a motivation for you. You get to actually push the exam. You get? So though this has been working for me, and I feel it would also work for you too. Then the last point is still LD. You get? There is no point of you reading, and at the end of the day, maybe 2 weeks to exam or 1 week. There's this serious headache and all. You need to rest too. Do you get? So do take your time to rest also. It's not every time that I said at least 2 hours of study per day. Do you get? But of course, in your timetable, there can be a break time too there. Whereby you relax and do some other things that would cool off your brain. You get? So that's just it. So I believe by the time you are able to implement the strategies, success is yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. So like every of our speakers has said, it is important to feel confident. Never even think of the possibility of anything failing. If things go south, it will not be because you were half-hearted about it. So please never consider the possibility of anything failing. Mr. Richard also mentioned the part of you maximizing your time. It mentioned how he was trying to maximize the time he had in traffic to read. So you can also take that. Please focus and also follow timetable judiciously. So also, please don't read in isolation. Communicate to people in your tutorial center, communicate to people that have written ICAN, that are chatted already. Discuss any issue you're having with them so that they can help you get through it. That is also very important. So I'm going to be moving to, do we have Miss Olaleye Bukola?
Mr. Olaleye Bukola.
Oh, Mr. Olale, sorry about that. Mr. Olale Bukola, please, if you can unmute your microphone, turn on your camera, and let's hear from you. So Mr. Bukola was one of our students. He's still one of our students. I believe that in Excel Academy. So he would like to share his experience with us at Excel Academy.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So Bukola Olaleye. Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience joining Excel Academy. Mr. Ahmed has been wonderful with other. It has been a great experience. The approach to the tutorial makes it easy for you to get it easy with ICAN. Like they make you read every day because number one, Ahmed will make you to do tutorial. Assignment every day. You won't do, otherwise you will punish you. Imagine punishing the elderly people. The approach is, I just love the approach because it makes you read every day, like Monday to all around the clock. You have a lecture 8 to 11, so there's no way you don't want to read that day. So I really enjoyed the class and it has really helped me. So I only have 2 papers left to write. So trusting Excel Academy to stand in for me again as much as I say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bukola. Please, if we have Mrs. Or Miss Blessing on the call, Miss Akintaro Blessing, please unmute your microphone and share your experience with us, your experience at Excel Academy with us.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, welcome, Blessing.
My name is Blessing Oluwatife Akintaro. I want to, at first, meeting Excel Academy is not as if I know him in person or anything. I was just going through my Facebook account, so I saw his poster like Excel Academy. I was like, how can I just register without knowing the person? I was thinking, can this tutorial be true or something? I just used one mind and followed the WhatsApp number. So I messaged. I was like, okay, I saw your poster on Facebook. He introduced himself. He said yes, tutorial and all of that. One of my mind is saying, okay, let me just keep watching and see if I will join the tutorial. But through his post, his status, Mr. Ahmed himself, I was a bit convinced that okay, let me try the tutorial. So, and you have to pay a certain amount and stuff, but I can't remember. I don't think it's at start. So, to cut the story short, after I joined Excel Academy, because if I tell you that SFM has actually dealt with me, then I know what I'm saying, because I've written SFM like 4 times before I eventually made Mr. Ahmed. And it's not as if I've not attended tutorials before. I've attended. And it's not as if I don't really know what they are saying there. But meeting Mr. Ahmed and joining Excel Academy, like the training was just kind of different. Because SFM itself, like whenever I see the question, I always feel like, even if I know what to do, like the content of the question, like we all know now, like 1 page, 2 pages, I'll be like, hey, can I even, like that fear in me, I'll be like, can I even solve this question? I will just try to glance through. But with the tutorial, Mr. Ahmed made it easier. Like, I'm talking about Mr. Ahmed personally because he was the one that took the SFM class. And that was the class I registered for. So that's why I keep mentioning his name. So it just made everything simple. Like, it was not like, really? And it's not as if I just wrote the exam and passed. Like, even when the results was out, I was like, 76 means I have been failing I've written SFM for like 4 times and I failed 4 times. You know, when I say I failed 4 times, like me not having 76, I was like, wow. It was just like magic. Although God helped too, but I won't lie, Excel Academy is really, really good, because the fear, they will even take it out from you, then they will teach you everything it needs. So if you are lucky to be here, or if you are here, I will tell you, you are very lucky to join Excel Academy, because they are just the best, and I'm sure you will also have a testimony to what I'm saying after the exam. So thank you once again, Excel Academy, because now I am now a chartered accountant. Thank you everybody.
Thank you very much for that. So the reason why we brought Mr. Bukola and Miss Blessing to speak is so that you can hear from people that has passed through Excel Academy. So in Excel Academy, we provide you with extremely detailed but very simplified lecture notes. We also, our tutors also, apart from the tutorial, we also try to respond to our students' questions outside the class environment. In order to also ensure that you don't learn in isolation, you can meet any of our tutors, and you can also request to have a mentor that we can connect you to, just to ensure that you have a swell experience during the course of your program with us. Okay, Mr. Oluokun is back. Okay, Mr. Oluokun, please, can you just take a minute to share your experience with us at Excel Academy?
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Ahmed for putting me on this space. I want to thank Fumi for hosting it, and everybody that just spoke. It's just really, really inspiring, because right now you guys just took all the words out of my mouth. Like, there's nothing I want to say. And I also want to say that when I started Excel Academy, it was like a friend referred it to me, and I would say that was like the best decision of my life. It was a great investment, because I've written it twice. I wrote PM twice in skills level. So the third time, our first class Ahmed, I told Ahmed, like, I don't know if Ahmed can remember, I told him that, see, I've written this paper twice, and this will be the last time I'll write it. So he just smiled, and apparently he got the job done. I want to say thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Writing ICAN exam is not really a big deal. One of our professors in UNILAG told me that you can never be prepared for ICAN. And that word said actually dwelt in my head. So I guess all my exams I was writing, I was just, I was just pinpointed in what he said. But when I was done with Ahmed tutorial, he gave us some required documents, some required files. I felt prepared. Like, I knew that I could enter the exam hall and come out with a pass. I was not going to write the exam again. So, to everybody listening, potential students, past students, I just want to say Excel Academy is a very good investment. And if you want to clear your ICAN, be it skills, be it professional or ECCA, Excel Academy is the best option right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Please, let's quickly go into the question and answer session. If you have any question for us, please just use the chat box, or you can just use the raise hand feature. Mr. Ayodeji, do you want to say something? If you are there, please unmute your microphone.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ayodeji. I just want to add to what all the speakers have said. There's one thing that I experienced personally, which I think I'll share with some people sometimes, and it's really worked. It majorly happened during my final level, my professional level. I discovered that whenever I'm reading other courses, I use ×2 of that time to read my SFM. And I discovered that, even for example now, whatever they taught me in class, I use the same hours they used to teach me in class to read it. But whenever I'm reading for SFM, it require me ×2 of that same hours that I used to receive lectures. So my first diet, I attended lectures for the entire 5 courses, but I registered for 4 courses because I discovered that I cannot able to read intensively and prepare for that particular course. So I attended the class, but I did not read it anymore because I discovered that it take much of my time for me to cope with that course. So instead of me to fail all the courses, I decided to leave the one that take consume most of my time. And out of 4, my first diet, that first attempt in final level. I passed 3 out of it. And the second diet, I wrote 2 because I failed. The test I failed, and because I failed in my first diet and I passed. The reason I'm emphasizing in this case, it's not a must that you should register for all the courses. Believe you me, if you have a mindset that you are not in competition with anybody, but you are in competition with yourself alone, success is easier. When you have a mindset that I'm in competition with myself and I need to know myself, I need to know what make me to succeed. It's better off than looking out to someone that my friend is writing 5 courses, let me also write. Or my colleague is reading for 5 courses, let me also read. Know yourself well. And thank God it's the first week that lectures is commencing, or let's see people are planning to start the exam. Within the first 3 to 4 weeks, you should try to know yourself. Know yourself in the sense that what is your reading capacity, what is your studying capacity, and what is the time available for you to study. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. At the end of the day, the entire eggs got broken. What I mean by that is that don't try to read all the courses. At the end of the day, you fail all the courses. Know what suits you. It's better if you write 3 courses this diet and pass all, and next diet write the remaining 2 courses and pass all, than repeating different courses and failing it consistently. So that's just my contribution. I wish all the intending chartered accountants success ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yodeji. Sinosho, your hand is raised. Please unmute your mic and let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you, the moderator. So thank you to all the speakers. Richard, Bumi, I'm right, and the last speaker, I couldn't remember the name. Ayodeji just spoke my mind right now. Just a way of addition to what the speakers have said. It is always good while writing ICAN exam to know who you are. I could remember I got qualified as an undergraduate back then, concurrently with my study at IFE, and what really helped me then was that I knew who I was. Try to know, okay, what is your reading capacity? Then many of my friends that were writing ICAN together then, they usually use the library. They like this show off stuff. I'm not saying if that works for you, fine. But I'm the type of person that I know, okay, this is who I am. I don't like, reading 10, 15, 13 hours. If reading 13 hours is your strength, go for it. If reading 4 hours is your strength, just know who you are. And the second thing is, fine, it's good for you to have a timetable, but every week, try to review your assimilation level. I could remember when I had my timetable then, what helped me was that, okay, I tried to look at what is the balance. Okay, I need to do calculation first, maybe as Richard has said, 8 to 10, and from 10 to 12, I have to read maybe corporate governance. I don't know what it's called now, like corporate governance and the likes. But at some point, after maybe 2 weeks or 3, I realized that the assimilation level changes, that I'm not getting more reading the calculation aspect early and the theoretical aspect late. I swapped, I changed. It's okay, try to read this around 8 to 10. Then at some point, I knew, it looks as if my body system has changed. Okay, is it that the night reading is not working for me? Do I need to sleep between 8 to 12 and wake up around 2 to 5? So just try to know who you are, try to understand what works for you, and trust me, success is assured. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That is also very important. Know yourself, know your capacity, know what you can take in at a time. That will help you to plan. That will help you to even plan your timetable for reading. So if you easily get bored, because I have heard cases where people say they get bored with audits, you know that you should not read courses like that at night. So please have a good timetable, and also while you are trying to prepare your timetable, factor your strengths and weaknesses into it. So do we have any other person who would want to ask question or who has any addition? Please, if you do, I can't. Okay, Mr. Adetoye, you can go ahead. Yes, I can.
Yes.
I'm sure everybody else can.
So my take to this is, I believe in against what you say on the word going to affect. I believe that you taking the courses at a time can actually work because most of my colleagues when we use the exam, they did the 5 courses, the 4 courses, and I was kind of scared that okay, me doing everything, I might fail it off. So I decided to pick the out of 4. Thank God I passed it. So the second time now picking up PM that okay, let me do the PM now. Since I know I have much time to do PM, I feel guilty like then I'm like I should have done before because if I have done before the first time, this second time the question they asked me, and then after exam I was just like, what was this relevant question, all this and that came out. I couldn't even focus on how to even how I failed the exam. So I was just surprised. So I believe that if you can do this, do everything at a time, fine. The one you know that you have priority, the one you know you can actually, you actually good at, give them time more, like read them more. And the ones you see that okay, this was I don't think I'm getting this. Just give them for experience. You know, we say experience is the best lesson and best teacher. So once you're able to do that, and the next time you're coming to do the exam, I'm pretty sure that the exam will be very, very easier for you. So like someone who's coming to write as a fresher. Thank you. That's what I have to say.
All right. Thank you very much, Adetoye. So, and to the question being asked in the chat box, the study pack are voluminous, and how do I dissect the study packs? Yeah, this is where the study plan would work out. You get to you can just try to draft out the list of the topics of in particular course, divide it into look at how many weeks is remaining to the exam, right? So divide those topics and just try to ensure that you create at least 4 to 5 weeks of revision towards the exam. In Exam Academy, we have the main class and we also have the revision class. So in the revision class, this is where we do majorly questions. You get to solve majorly questions. So you to effect that in your study plan to ensure you have a revision time too. Do you get? But you can just pick maybe 15 weeks or maybe 12 weeks, divide those topics into those 12 weeks, then ensure that at least a day should not go without you following your study plan. Do you get? So with this it should help you a lot. Do you get? So thank you very much. We really appreciate you all for your presence, for you joining the webinar. And yeah, should in case you have further questions, right, feel free to contact us on the phone number that is on the chat box, right? And you can check us out on our social media channels. It will be dropped on the Telegram platforms, and also we have free Telegram lectures for you guys. So you can just message me on any of this WhatsApp number, right? I would if you want to join the Telegram platforms, just let me know. I would add you to the Telegram platforms, right? And also our paid classes, right? Every necessary materials that you would need to pass the exam will be given. Richard was talking about the videos, lectures, the free icon. Yeah, we do have them. We would also provide them as additional study materials at Exam Academy. But I mean, you need to see our class notes. It is very detailed. Like, I'm not trying to sweet mouth or how do they say it, but I'm just telling you the reality, and I wish you all success in your preparation and in your exam particularly. Thank you very much. So for me, you can take over. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. So he has said pretty much everything. I would like to say thank you to everyone for joining and for staying in this meeting. I would like to say thank you to our speakers for the powerful session. And I would like to end by saying that tough journeys are not for the faint of heart. And the word IS speaks, they are definitely one of the most hospitable places. But then, for you to, what does this mean? For you to have registered for ICAN, for you to even say that you want to take the ICAN exams, that means you are brave, and that is why you started in the first place. Being brave does not mean that you don't have an iota of fear. It just means that even though it is hard, even though it is hard or it is difficult, you're ready to find your way through it. You know that you're going to go through it, and that is why you're taking the journey. So even as we all know that ICAN exam is not easy. It's not easy. That's why everybody does not have the certificate. We should also know that for us to have started, then we have to go through it. You have to overcome that fear of you started. That means you are brave and you have to just get through it. So when you have that mentality of earlier something positive is going to come out of it, please, it will help you to overcome fear. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is that we should not read for the sake of passing, because at the end of the day, like Ms. Moturaya said when she was speaking, everything adds up. So it's not just about reading to pass the stage, that stage you're in. It will add up because you're going to get to meet these things in other stages, and not even in other stages. When you start working, it is the application that matters. It's not even about just passing. Are you able to apply what you've learned during the course of your ICAN journey? So that is really very important. Thank you very much for joining the session. We expect to see you all in Excel Academy this next diet. For those that are not qualified, of course, we would expect to see you in Excel Academy. Thank you for joining the session, and we love you. Bye.